So here we've seen that various support of information systems in the organization from 1950s to 1990s. So although these are some technologies are already supporting this type of information systems, but this one summarizes how the progress of information system type support in the organization evolved within the organization as it supports from basic functions to decision-making type. Number one is a majority of the supportive information systems in the early 90s focus on transaction processing systems. And I hope that you already understand this one, and please raise a question or raise that in our forum if you have questions about various types of information systems, because it wasn't included here. But I expect that some of you have already encountered this one in your MIS course. So looking at the higher level, if you will see the second level during the 60s, it's indicated here there is a management information systems. If we look at this one, there is only the support of management information systems are just anchored from the transaction processing systems, and most of these management information systems focus on the functions as functions of the department based on what has been gathered during the transaction processing system. So if we will look at this one, we can see that management information systems are reporting systems data gathered based from the data gathered from the transaction processing systems. And during the late 90s, before we move on, there is a perspective that the automation systems within the office has already been started. And if you can see the progress of the evolution of information systems is also dependent on how what's the data available within the organization. If we look at the next, during the early 1980s, there's already a system to support decision making, and those systems are actually derived also from the management information system. And 10 years after that, and there's a focus on the upper level management part, which is the executive information systems, where enterprise information systems has been derived at this part, and also the group support systems. So considering that the levels of management and the support of information systems can be seen as one, actually even the evolution, the lower level management was supported by transaction processing system, and it evolves towards the executive information systems during the 80s. And after that, after around 90s, there's already an integration of expert systems, knowledge management systems, and artificial neural networks, which includes artificial intelligence until today. Although there are other considerations for this one, because the office automation concept was already integrated currently, but there is less interaction with human beings. The expert systems made today don't somehow have limited interaction with the user itself or the actual human users. There are a lot of expert systems derived during 80s where humans are still needed, but now through artificial intelligence, those expert systems were already converted into somehow a neural net that will decide on behalf of the human without human intervention. So if you can see, the organization actually is looking on limiting the labor involvement for each level. So we expect that if you will adapt those various steps of organizations in advancing information system integration, we believe that the organization can focus on other aspects rather than the basic transactions. So the skills requirements or knowledge requirements of the people involved in the organization will shift into more not a permanent, not a routine task, but more on a task that requires human intelligence, not the repetitive one. Okay, so that's it for the evolution. We will move to the next.